everybody. This is Ralph Yuzokwe from Global Staffing and Business Solutions. We do these videos to give you value, to teach you something that you can learn to enhance, that will enhance your life. Something that you can learn to help you with your job search. Okay, today we're going to talk about how to explain employment gaps on your resume. A lot of time when you go to an interview, when you look at your resume, one thing I want you to do is don't lie on your resume, okay? Be very, very truthful on your resume. But you need to sit down at home and go into your mind and ask yourself, this gap in my resume, if somebody asks me about this gap, what am I gonna say, okay? That's why practice is very, very powerful, okay? What am I going to say? So you need to sit down and in your brain articulate what you're going to say. Think about what you're going to say so that it comes across to the person who's interviewing you that you have this gap for a legitimate reason. And even though you have this gap, you were doing something constructive during this gap, okay? So that nobody thinks that during this gap you were just sitting around at home watching Netflix and getting fat, or sitting around at home and eating potato chips and watching HBO or watching the TV from morning till night. You want to convey the fact that, yes, I have this gap, but this is what I was doing during this gap, okay? One of the most powerful things that somebody like me want to hear is that while you had this gap, you were doing something constructive, especially you were going back to school to learn something new, okay? You were just doing something constructive that will enhance your life, something that will take your life to the next level. And we're going to talk about some of the kinds of gap and the way you're going to explain it to whoever asks you. First of all, we have a family gap. The family gap is like you're taking out time, okay, to have a baby or something like that. You're taking out time because your father or mother was very sick and you wanted to be with them towards their last days and you wanted to spend time with them if you're one of those people who can afford to do that. So when you tell me something like that, I'll say, you're compassionate, you care about your mother and dad, or, you're having a baby, you're trying to have a baby, probably about 4 months to the time you're going to have a baby and 6 months after you have a baby so you can spend time with the baby, okay? And nobody is going to crucify you for that because, it's a good thing. You don't want to lose those early days of your baby's life. You don't want to be one of those people who work all the time that you lose some of the early days of your kid's life and, you don't spend time with them. These are things that, regardless of how much money you have, you don't want to, it hurts when you don't spend time with your children because as soon as they grow up, they have their own personality, their own life, and they go about their own business, you miss that crucial time. So, you want to be able to explain it to your interview, whoever asks you, if they ask you that. The second thing is an interview educational gap. The educational gap is when you take out time and you want to go to your school, okay, or you want to go to different seminars to improve your knowledge, improve your life, because life is constantly evolving. The more you go out there and acquire more knowledge, the better for you. The days of your company telling you, okay, Ralph, we're going to pay for your extended education. We're going to pay for your school so that you go to this school and learn. Then after you learn, you come back. Companies don't do that. I have companies that don't do that. The reason I don't do that is because I can pay for your educational advancement, and after you acquire that knowledge, you turn around and leave, okay? And when you leave, where do I stand? You take that knowledge and go to somewhere else where they're going to probably pay you more money. And so that's why companies don't do that anymore. So if you want to be more productive, you have to take it upon yourself to learn yourself. For somebody like me, I never stop learning. At least every 2 weeks, I go through one book. Every 2 weeks, I go through a book. And I'm not, most of the time, I don't have the patience to sit down and read the book. And most of the books that I read, it's almost like audio books. Okay? I go to audio books, and instead of riding to work and back from work every day, listening to the radio that don't put any kind of money in your pocket, that don't enhance your knowledge, listening to all the crime and everything that's going on, put your time to work. Anytime you lose, you can get it back. So what you want to do is get an audio book every 2 weeks. Listen to that audio book. Stop wasting your time listening to the radio or looking around when you're driving. Listen to the audio book. The more you listen to people who are successful, the more successful you're going to be. Okay? So this is very, very powerful. Read your industrial magazine. Go to your industrial groups. You know, if you're in IT, there's a place that IT people converge. Be a part of it. You know, if you're in the medical field, go where, if you're a doctor, go where doctors converge. You know, and learn from those that are successful. You know, the more you learn, when you get to some places, just be quiet. Okay? If you go in a place where everybody's talking, try to be quiet. Discipline yourself to be quiet, because when you're quiet, you soak in the knowledge. But you can't learn something when you're running your mouth. You can't learn nothing when you're running your mouth. So learn that, okay? So another thing we're going to do is transitional gap, okay? A transitional gap in your resume is when you're transitioning from like one job to the other, okay? Let's just say you're tired of your job, it's really not what you want, you're frustrated, and you really don't want to be fired, but you take a resignation. You say, okay, you know, I'm just gonna go ahead and resign and look for another job. Okay, it happens a lot. Some people are so unhappy with their job that the best thing, and it gives them so much stress, that the best thing they could do is for themselves and for their health, they just resign. So when you resign, but one thing I advise you is when you resign, okay, make sure that the time that you're not working, you use it for something useful. Either learning more, you know, going to seminars, doing so many things that can enhance your life, okay? The other thing is health reasons. A lot of time, you know, you're working and everything is going fine, and all of a sudden you have an accident. God forbid, you have an accident. And you might have a fatal accident that might keep you out of work for about a year, okay, before you can be able to get back onto the workforce. So these are the things that causes gap in your resume. So you should be able to convince whoever is interviewing you when they ask you that question. So you should be able to tell them, this is what happened. That's why I took some time off to recover fully before I start looking for another job. Okay? Now, the last one is what I call voluntary gap. Okay? A voluntary gap is when all of a sudden you decide that, you know, some people have saved up a lot of money. They decided, we say, you know something, I'm just going to travel. You know, life is too short. I'm just going to travel. A lot of people that have money do that, you know, and even people that don't have money. Some kids that don't have money. I know people that just graduated from college and they're just tired of everything. They said, okay, I've saved up a lot of money. I'm just going to go to Europe and just hang out. You know, I'm just going to travel around the United States and hang out, you know. So when they do that, they kind of clear their head. They're going to refocus. So that helps you, when you do stuff like that, that helps you refocus. But what I want to advise you to do, wherever you are, try to do things that will enhance your life. Learn more. Learn from new people. Just don't while away your time, because time waits for nobody. Just do something constructive, you know. As you go around United States or as you go around Europe, do something constructive that will enhance your life. Okay, so when somebody asks you, oh, you got a gap, you say, well, I just took out time to travel. You know, I felt like I needed to see the world. I might not have this, I'm single, I might not have this opportunity again. So I just wanted to travel around and see the world so I can, you know, refocus and be ready. So when I start working, I'm ready, you know. And so these are some of the ways that you can go about, explaining your gaps. Okay, but you have to be very, very convincing. I've had people who explain to me their gaps, and I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it at all. But you have to be very, very convincing. Okay, and a lot of people, because they're so bad, they might get fired from a job and they can't get another job for a long time. Okay, that you get fired from one job. Okay, that's where it boils down again, that you have to have confidence in yourself. You have to have confidence in your ability. Okay, that somebody fires you from a job is not the end of the world. You might not be good for this company, but you're great for another company. So never, never underestimate your abilities. Have confidence in yourself that you'll get fired from a job is not the end of the world. Okay? You go just the same way you found that job, you can go out and find another job. So in everything you do, have confidence in yourself. Okay? But your mindset has to be right. Your mindset has to be right. So these are the ways that you have to make sure that you're ready. When you start turning in resumes, be ready, because a lot of people will ask you that question. A lot of time I ask that question when I'm interviewing people to see what they're gonna say. Okay? And from what they say, I can start to evaluate them. So you have to be very, very sharp when you answer these questions. So when you answer the questions well, okay, don't spend more than 1 minute or 2 minutes answering these kind of questions. And that is why you should be prepared for this question. So if they ask you this question, answer it truthfully, and be quiet so they can ask you the next question. Okay? I hope this helps you. Like I said, all we're trying to do here is add value to your life. I have series of videos that I've put out there to add value to your life. And I hope this adds value to your life. I hope this is something that you can use. Okay? Thank you very much, and take care of yourself. Okay? Happy job hunting.